Hey guys, welcome back to another video today. If you're new here, please do want to subscribe. If you're not subscriber, thank you for always coming back. So in this video, we're going to be making this tie waist gown that has kind of gathered effect at the lower part of it. And I'm styling this gown in 3 different ways, which I'll be showing you in this video. So this is the first one, and I'll go ahead to tie the second one, as you can see, like so. And that is what I'm doing right now. I'm gonna have to show you every details of how I made this dress will be dropped in this video, so you want to watch this video to the very end. So this is the second design of it. Okay, this is the second design of it. I actually used a very light cotton material. It's a bit stretchy to make this dress. I didn't even notice it was stretchy, not until I started sewing. That was when I noticed it was stretchy. So, and it's actually a cotton material, so you can also use a cotton material, crepe, whichever one, but something light, I think. So this is the third way you can tie the tie waist design, as you can see. So tell me in the comment section which you think is best and what you prefer. So let's head straight to the pattern drafting tutorial. So I have my basic bodies. I'm going ahead to cut open my side, my waist dart. If you've been following my videos, you should get used to me doing this. I work with patterns. Whatever I do, I work with patterns, okay? No matter how simple, whether a basic skirt, I work with pattern. I think you should also learn how to do that. So I'm also cutting open the 2 darts, and I'll go ahead to tape them down. So I'm going to have to close up the 2 darts, and I'll impute my style lines. My style lines, these are the lines where I'm going to be cutting open. So I'm going to have to impute my style lines like so. And that is what I'm doing right now. You want to watch this place very closely so you get the trick and the basic things to do so you can achieve a well knit and fitted tie waist gown. You know, you see those kind of rumples around my bust area, those kind of fit effects, you know, those kind of drape effects. So you have to watch very closely to get those effects very well. So this is what I'm doing right now. I'm going ahead to cut like so. Sorry, I'm drawing my star lines like so. I'm trying to have multiple lines so I can have multiple drapes. So I can have as many drapes as possible, yeah. But you can just leave just at 2, whatever you want. But I'm putting more lines so I can have more drapes. So I'm cutting exactly following the lines that I drew. Okay, I'm cutting exactly following the lines that I drew. So I'm using my tape to hold this down. Looks like it went out of place. So I'm going to be cutting exactly like so. Please, if you haven't subscribed, do want to subscribe to this channel, like this video, and share to other sewing platforms where this video will be needed. Thank you. So I'm cutting like so. Yeah, that reminds me, I know I have a lot of requests, people asking me to make some kind of videos, and I haven't been able to do that. But don't worry, I'm working on it, and I'm going to be bringing those requests. Okay, I'm going to be bringing those requested videos. Please, I still have them in mind. Just that I have to, you know, make a plan. So in my plan, they are there, and I'll bring them. I'll bring the videos, I'll bring up the tutorials here, okay? Please bear with me. So I'm going ahead to put a fresh pattern paper that has another color, so just you don't get confused. And I'm going to be spreading this out on it. You don't want to spread much, just minimum, highest 1 inch, 1 inch apart. I didn't measure mine. I kind of eyeballed it, but I know that it's not more than 1 inch or just 1 point something. Don't use anything more than 1.5 inches, okay? So just spread it apart like so, except for that very part where the dart opened up by itself, okay? That very part that is pointed to the bust point. But the rest, I think 1 inch should be okay. Maximum, sorry, 1.5 inches. Nothing should be more than that. So I'm going to have to spread like so. and I'm taping it down on the place. You want to make sure everything is laid flat and nice. We are working on flat pattern. We're using a flat pattern, so you want to make sure your pattern is laid flat. There are no bulgy areas because it's going to affect the fit of your dress. So you want to make sure your pattern is laid very nice and flat. So I haven't done this now. This is what it looks like. I'll go ahead to get another paper that I'm going to be using as the rope area. You know, the rope was not attached differently. The rope came directly with the bodies. So I'm going to be using this paper as my rope, and I'll be attaching it like so on this very particular point like this. You want to watch very closely. The basic thing is I want to create a space at the two ends, and you will see the reason why I'm creating that space in the sewing video. Okay, so this is it now. I'm taping it down like so. You want to watch this video to the end so you know the reason why I'm not putting this rope at the very beginning of the 2 points. Okay, so I'm going to have to use my tape to measure the distance between those two parts, and 1 inch is okay. Yeah, 1 inch is okay. So I'm going to have to make sure that both of them are on 1 inch gap like so. So this one is a bit bigger, so I have to join it to the rope of the gown. Yes, this is actually a gown. I have to join it to the rope of the gown like so. So I'm going to have to use my scissors to remove the excess papers which I wouldn't be needing like so. I'm going to have to make sure that this very particular one is like so. Trying to make that curve out effect and nurturing my original pattern. Okay, we're only removing the excess papers that we do not need. Do not cut your original pattern. Just exactly what you're seeing me do now. That is what you should be doing. So those 2 points, you should also put them into consideration while we'll go ahead to cut. Okay, so this is what we're having. This is what the upper body's front looks like, and for the back is just the basic back. Nothing is going on at the back. It's just the basic back. So this is what the upper body's front looks like. For the rope, I'll be extending it. Okay, so for the lower bodies, I just closed up my darts. If I have so many videos where I did this closing up of that, so you just check on my channel and you'll see that. And I opened it up at this area, and this is what it looks like. So for that gathered effect at the hem area of it, at the very lowest part of my gown, I'm using 10 inches. So I'm going to be marking 10 inches all the way around. 10 inches for the very first one. Like the front one has 2 layers. So 10 inches for the first one and 5 inches for this upper layer. So I'm going to have to mark the 10 inches for the very long layer first. Long layer, the first layer or the second layer, whichever one, the longest one, 10 inches. So that's what I'm marking now. And I'm going to be getting my 5 inches from this very particular one also. So I'm using my scissors to detach that from this very part, from the main pattern. Okay, so this is what the main pattern looks like now. Just this all the way to this very particular point. That's what the main pattern is for the lower bodies. Okay, so I labeled center front, and for the back we're also going to be doing exactly the same thing. Okay, for the back exactly the same thing we did to the front. So I'm going to have to use my ruler now to draw in my star lines that I'll be cutting through, because we need gathers at the front, we need gathers at the upper part of it, and we also need fullness at the lower part. So I'm cutting through. It's not like a flare. It's not like you're slashing and spreading to form a flare. You're actually forming a gather. So I'm going to be cutting open, like I'm going to be separating these things one by one, and I'll show you exactly what it looks like. So I haven't gone ahead to do that. This is what it looks like. I told you I separated it one after the other, one by one, and I had to tape it down on a fresh pattern paper to form this curved effect, just so it gives me that very beautiful fit. This is all the pattern. This is it on the fabric. This is what it looks like, and I'll head straight to the sewing. So heading over to the sewing, you remember those 2 points I told you to take note of on the very particular upper bodies. So that's them there, but we've not started sewing yet. I went ahead to join an additional rope to my, what is it called, to the rope, because it's actually small, And my fabric, I'm trying to economize it. So if I had to cut it on a whole, it's going to consume a lot of fabric. So that was, I had to join it so it to be longer. That was what I did. I had to join it so it to be longer. Okay. So I haven't done that. I'm going to be joining the original, those 2 points like that. Did you see what I did? Those 2 points. I turn it like I'm sewing at the back side of it. I'm sewing those 2 points, 2 areas I told you to take note of. I'm going to be sewing them together and getting the sewing all down to my rope area. Do not worry, we are still going to be doing it to the other side. If you don't get it here, you will be getting it when I sew the other side of it. So I went ahead to sew all the way down to my rope area. Okay. If your fabric is enough, you don't need to join your rope. Just cut with your paper. But because I don't have enough, I actually used 4.5 yards. Those gathered effects at the lower part of it consumed a lot of fabric. So actually, that's why even the back just had to be 1 layer. So if your fabric is more than enough, I would advise like 6 yards or 5 yards by 60. 6 yards, in fact, by 60. So to be nice for it, we're going to be turning it open from here. So for the other part, like I said, you want to put this very part and join it to that other part like so. That other part that looks like it's close to the center front, okay? The one at the side and the one that is close to the center front, you want to sew them up. That 1 inch mark that we made, and you sew it all the way down to the rope of this very dress. I hope that is explainable, please. I hope that is understandable, please. Just do what to understand. If you've been following this video, then you should be able to understand, okay? And we are sewing at the wrong side of it. So I'm sewing way down to my, what is it called? To the end of my belt. I'm saying rope, please, belt. The end of the belt. So I'll be turning this open, like I'll be turning it to the right side. I'll be turning the belt to the right side, okay? I'll be turning the belt to the right side like so. And you want to give this a very nice press. You want to iron this out very well. Also, I'll go ahead to turn this very particular area like so. So I'm gonna have to turn it open, and this is what it looks like. So this is what it looks like. I brought out that area where I'll be joining my lower bodies. So this is what it looks like, as you can see. So I haven't done that now. I'll go ahead to join the back and the front together, the back and the front upper bodies together. I've marked my measurement already, so I'll be sewing by the sides. I'll be stitching up the sides to join my back and front upper bodies together, like so. If you have a stretchy fabric, do not pull while sewing. I actually found out that I was pulling here. That was when I noticed that this fabric is stretchy, because I found out I was pulling it and I noticed it was stretching and I'm not supposed to pull. So if you have a stretchy fabric, if you're using a stretchy fabric, please do not pull. I added an interface to my zipper area just so it stabilizes it. And I'm not having difficulties because I'm using an invisible zipper. So I don't have difficulties fixing the zipper, okay? So I'm going to have to sew the shoulder area of it like so. I didn't use any lining. I didn't use any lining for this dress. In fact, this is kind of a very fast work. I'm putting on this dress today for a program in the church. So, yeah. So I haven't done that. I'm going to have to stitch up the sides of the upper and lower bodies. We're going to have to join the lower bodies to the upper bodies. So firstly, I'll be using the front lower bodies like so. And I think that very point is my center front. Okay, that very point is my center front. So I'll be taking my lower bodies like so. lower bodies flare, lower body skirts. You understand the lower bodies I'm talking about. Okay, so I'll be taking it and I'll be joining it like so to sew on this waistline of the upper bodies like so. Just the way you sew your normal lower bodies, the way you join your lower bodies to the upper bodies, that's what I'm doing. Okay, there's nothing special about this very particular point. Now there's nothing special, just the normal way you sew your lower bodies to your upper bodies to form a gown. That's what I'm doing right now. So that's it. Connect, and same thing I'll be doing to the back. The same way I'll go ahead to sew that of the back also. So this is what it looks like. Same way I'll be going ahead to sew that of the back also. Trying to see if there's need for any place that is open, but no place is open. So for that gathered effect, I'm going at the lower part of it, I'm going to be running a loose stitch on the very first 10 inches and also on the 5 inches for the front and the back. I'm going to have to run a loose stitch. This is my center front for the 10 inches of the front. So I'm going to have to run a very loose stitch on it like so. And after running this loose stitch, I'll gather it. So I'll go ahead to run the loose stitch on both sides, and after running the loose stitch, I'll go ahead to gather it. Okay. So I haven't run the loose stitch. I'm going to head to gather it. That very part, I think the rope loosed at that very point. So I'm going to head to gather it like so. Okay. So this is the way I'm sewing it. You have to be very careful so that you don't gather the main lower bodies. Okay, so you don't gather the main lower bodies. You have to be very careful. The rope actually loosed at that area, so I didn't want to pull it again and start running gathered stitch. So I decided to gather those ones by myself manually. Then I'm trying to kind of distribute the gathers uniformly to complete the very part that I'm going to be sewing them on. Okay, that's what I'm doing now. I'm distributing the gathers uniformly to complete where I'm going to be sewing, and it's very easy. I'm sewing the 5 inches first because that's the one that is on top. You sew the 5 inches first before you sew the 10 inches. Okay, the one that has to be on top, you're sewing it first before you sew the 10 inches. Okay, so that when you flip over to the right side, it's going to be on top and the 10 inches is going to be beneath. So that's it. So I'm trying to be very careful to make sure that I sew this without, without ruining it. So you should also be careful while doing this. You have to sew it without ruining it. Okay, you have to be very careful while doing this. And it's not difficult. It's not difficult. It's very easy. Just sew according to what you've gathered. It's actually very easy. Okay. I don't know why my rope is cutting.